and welcome to a brand new video, guys. So today you join me for yet another Premier League prediction. That is right, today we are predicting Premier League Game Week 32. That is right, guys. There are only 7 games. There are only 7 games left of this Premier League season. This series is where I talk about each side, give you some details on each side, then give you my prediction at the end of that conversation. So like today's video, guys, hit a like button, subscribe if you're not ready. Without further ado, let's kick off with our Premier League Game Week 32 predictions. 11 games being played this game week. First up, we have Man City versus Crystal Palace. So Man City drew 0-0 to their Manchester rivals, Man United. You know what? 0-0 draw. A very boring game, I've got to say. One of the worst derbies I've ever seen, okay? And you know what? Because of that draw, they have now dropped down to 5th place, which means out of the Champions League spot. But guys, if you heard on the news recently, Premier League have now been given a 5th spot for the Champions League qualifying now. So that's not till next year though. So only 1 point behind, so they've got plenty of time to do that. They're up against a side though who in their last 5 games have won 4 and drew 1. Crystal Palace now sitting in 11th place and only 8 points away from Europa League, Conference League spot, whatever you want to look at it. But you know what? Palace can have a slight push. They are full of confidence right now, and they are playing twice this week. So they've got a few matches, they've got a few points to get, and they can actually get closer by the end of this game week. But anyway, guys, because of that alone, Mateta's back scoring goals. Eze's looking good. You know, the whole team are looking solid, to be fair. So that's why I've got this game, guys. I've got this game as a Crystal Palace win. So I've got Palace to beat Man City 2-1. Next we have Brighton versus Leicester. So Brighton now have been dropping down the table slowly. In their last 2 games, they have lost their last 2 games, and they are slowly dropping down the table. They do sit in 9th place, only 1 point behind Europa Conference League spot. But their form has not been great in the last couple of games. And you know what though? They shouldn't have any trouble in this game because they're up against a side, my boys, Leicester City. That is right. I don't know what to say about Leicester, guys. Another game. 8 games now at home where Leicester have not scored a home game. So it is like 12 games now without scoring a goal. It is something ridiculous. I don't know what's happening. There are talks of Ruud actually keeping his job for next season as well, for the rebuild. But guys, I don't want to talk about Leicester too much because they do my head in, and literally I will admit, football has not been my favourite subject, my favourite kind of sport for the past 3 to 4 weeks. I've been trying to avoid football for a bit because Leicester really depressed me, I've got to say. But anyway, guys, just on that alone, I do have Brighton to bounce back from their 2 losses and beat Leicester 3-0. Next up we have Forest versus Everton. So Forest sit comfortably in 3rd place, 4 points above 4th place. So they have plenty of breathing space to finish in the top 3 section this season. They have been, they have been brilliant, but they did lose to Aston Villa last week, 2-1. They've got a bit of breathing space to work with in the last 7 games, to try and pull away from the bottom, try and pull away from the 4th and 5th place. We shall find out what happens. Chris Wood has been truly missed. I think he's back next weekend because he's still injured right now. So since they've lost him, they have struggled to find goals. But against Everton, it shouldn't be too hard for them because they're up against Everton in their last 4 games. I've drew 4 games in a row. And you know what I've got to say? Everton now are in a place where they are certainly safe. And obviously they can't really fight for anything else this season. Because Forest are fighting for a Champions League spot, I think Forest will come out this week and beat Everton. Forest to beat Everton 2-0. Next we have Southampton versus Villa. One thing to say about Southampton is they are relegated to the Championship yet again. Their manager Jurek got released on a relegation clause, so he has left the club right now. Adam Lallana takes over as assistant manager with some other geezer. I don't know the other geezer. But yeah, Southampton, man, very disappointing season. Already relegated. 7 games left and already relegated. So it has been an awful season for Southampton, and I think they'll struggle to find it. You know, I think they'll struggle to find that form in the Championship as well, because when you get relegated from the Premier League so early on, you know, it could actually dent your confidence as a player as well. They're up against Villa, who sit in 7th place, beat Forest 2-1, good win overall, but they did lose in the Champions League against PSG 3-1 last night. I got to say, I found it so hard against PSG. That is the difference level, guys, in the Champions League and Premier League games. You're playing the best sides in the world, and I've got to say, Villa, I think they struggled a little bit. But anyway, just on that there, guys, they should walk past Southampton easy. So I got Villa to beat Southampton 3-0. Next up we have Arsenal versus Brentford, London derby clash. So Arsenal drew 1-1 with Everton. That has truly dented their title hopes. Guys, listen to this, okay? I know we said, you know, it's probably over now for the Premier League title, but Arsenal did gain a point against Liverpool because Liverpool lost their recent games. So yes, overall a bad draw against Everton, but they do gain a point, and now they only sit 9 points from first place. Yes, that is 3 whole big wins. But you know what, guys? The season is not over yet for Arsenal. They could still win the Champions League because they swooped aside Real Madrid 3-0 in the Champions League. What a free kick by Declan Rice. 2 free kicks, but that second one, what a player, by the way. Declan Rice is such an underrated player. He does not get recognised enough of how good of a player he is. He's such a good player, man. But anyway, they do sit in second, and they could fight for the Premier League title if they can catch up to Liverpool. But big ass. They're up against Brentford, who drew 0-0 to their London rivals Chelsea. Good point overall, guys. Good point for Brentford right there. And yes, just like Palace, they are in a slight chance of an Europa League, Conference League spot. They're only 6 points ahead behind 8th place, and that's a Europa Conference League spot. These last 7 games for these teams in the top 10, it's going to be a big end to the season. So we'll see what happens, guys. So say no one is secured yet in a playoff place, a championship, Champions League place, Europa League place. You know, it's still all not been confirmed yet. So it's going to be an exciting end to the season. But because of Arsenal's 3-0 win against Real Madrid at the during the week, I do have this game, guys, to end as Arsenal, and I've got Arsenal to beat Brentford 2-0. Next up we have Chelsea versus Ipswich Town. So Chelsea drew 0-0 to Brentford at the weekend. They do sit in 4th place only by goal difference. So Chelsea can see themselves out of the top 4 this weekend. We shall see what happens. Not a great point for them against Brentford, but they still picked up a point. So you know, it's better than losing, isn't it? They're up against Ipswich Town, who lost to their relegation rivals Wolves 2-1. And I think that, guys, that loss to Wolves basically confirms, guys, it's literally writing on the wall now. I think Leicester and Ipswich Town are both relegated, but obviously mathematically they can still survive. But Wolves are too far ahead now. They sit 15 points, guys, ahead of the bottom 2, and yeah, I think it's basically confirmed Leicester and Ipswich as well. But Ipswich Town, guys, will lose Liam Dillard next season. He has got a £30 million relegation release clause on his contract, which means teams will come in for him for 30 million or above. So a big loss for them right there. I think he will definitely go. We shall see what happens. I've got Chelsea, guys, because Ipswich Town battle quite hard. I've got this game to end as a slight win for Chelsea. I've got Chelsea, guys, to beat Ipswich 1-0. Next we have Liverpool versus West Ham. So Liverpool lost 3-2 to Fulham. A crazy game, by the way. Crazy game. What a game as well. But yeah, they did lose, but still, like I say, 9 points ahead of 2nd place. And they're in talks right now, guys. You heard it here first. They're in talks right now to a new deal with Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk as well. So to get them two for another year or maybe 2 years, and that is them settled, for retirement. yes, if they can get them signed on now, sign some new deals, and then they should be looking strong next year. So overall, it has been a bad week for Liverpool because obviously they lost against Fulham, but they do actually, they are actually renewing contracts of their 2 best players. So they're up against West Ham, who drew 2-2 with Bournemouth. Overall, a good point, and just like Everton, they sit on 35 points, which is, which is technically safe, so they can build on for next season now, try and find out some weaknesses in the side and strengthen that position. I do have Liverpool though, guys, to bounce back this week and beat West Ham. That's why I got Liverpool to beat West Ham 2-1. Next we have Wolves versus Tottenham. That is right, so Wolves were a fantastic 2-1 win against Ipswich Town. They sit 15 points clear of Leicester and 12 points clear of Ipswich Town. So 5 games for Leicester, 4 games for Ipswich Town for them to even, get in the bottom 3. So you know what, Wolves are definitely safe this season. I've got to say fair play, because in their last 4 games, they have drew 1 and won 3. So you know what, fantastic right there. That is what you want, battling to the very end to survive, and that is what Wolves have done. So fair play to them right there. They're up against Tottenham, who beat Southampton 3-1. Nothing special about that result, guys, because Southampton obviously have been poor this season. Spurs fans still want Ampoglu out, and they have had a disappointing season. They do sit in 14th place, and it has been a miserable season for you Tottenham fans. So just on that alone, guys, I do have this game to end as a 1-1 draw. Next we have Newcastle versus Man United. That is right, Newcastle with a fantastic 3-0 win against Leicester. I've got to say they literally, guys, they scored 3 early goals first half and just sat back second half, saving some players' legs, saving their energy, because Leicester again did not really cause any problems, and Newcastle could literally just cruise through that game and get the 3-0 win. So because of that, they do sit in 5th place on the same points as Chelsea, but worse goal difference. But overall, a good win for them right there. Jacob Murphy has had a very successful season, I've got to say. Up against Man United, who drew 0-0 to Man City. Yes, very boring game, but I've got to say fair play to Man United, because they are looking like a side right now that are getting their confidence back up again. They do look decent, Man United now. All they lacking right now is a striker, because Højlund is not up for it, guys. Højlund needs to leave next season. He is not a Man United player. I quite like Xerxes. Fantastic, control of the ball. He moves really well as well, really strong. I think they should keep him, but Højlund needs to go, because he is not a Man United player. And you know what, I've got to say, they are playing some better football. Bruno Fernandes came out of his shell, and he has literally been the star man. But just on that, guys, Newcastle are going to be so good now. Their confidence is so high, so that's why I've got this game to end on Newcastle. I've got Newcastle to beat Man United 3-1. Bournemouth versus Fulham. This is 8th versus 10th. Bournemouth sit in 10th place. They drew 2-2 with West Ham at the weekend. Everton with 2 goals. He looks a good player, Everton. I've got to say, he could be their star player next season. Yes, he came in this year. He has scored a few goals, but he does look decent, Bournemouth have missed their star player though, Justin Kluivert. He has been injured for the past 3-4 weeks. And you can tell, because they are lacking his quality in the side. But overall, they do sit in 10th place, only 3 points away from Europa League and the Europa Conference League spot. So Bournemouth, guys, are still in the fight for that top 8, top 7 finish. And I really hope they do it, because they deserve it this season. They're up against Fulham in the same situation, sitting 8th place. It's the same, they sit in the last Europa League Conference spot. And you know what, Fulham, man, they deserve that win against Liverpool, because they battled, they fought for each other, and that is all you can ask for. So fair play to Fulham right there. They literally played so well, and that is what I think they'll do in this game as well. But because both of these sides right now are on the verge of, a massive achievement, I do have this game to end as a very exciting 2-2 draw. And there we go, guys, 10 games right there, but there's an extra game being played in the week. It is Newcastle versus Crystal Palace. So Newcastle and Palace against each other, midweek game, And you know what, this game will be good because both of these sides right now are on form. And the way this team are right now, they are fighting for something more than Crystal Palace are. Have Newcastle to beat Palace 2-1. And there we go then, guys. That is my Premier League Game Week 32 prediction. That is right, 32 prediction. Yeah, the only game being played this weekend. Some very exciting games. The league is spicing up right now. There's teams who are relegated already. There's some teams aren't even in the, you know, the table can change so much in the last 7 games. So we'll see what happens, guys. But anyway, if you have any more decisions, guys, let them down below in the comments. And if you like this video, hit a like button, subscribe, another video, and I'll see you guys next week for a brand new video. Good night.